accepted.
What's up, YouTube friends? Today I'm going to do a walkthrough of the Capture the Flag called Pluck from VulnHub.com, as you can see here. So let's get into it. I've already downloaded the VM, I have it running, and we are now going to start hacking away at it. So first thing first, do a little information gathering. And I have already had a session running. So let's go ahead and load that up just to save on some time. So now when I initially ran this, I came back with just the Apache and the MySQL. Eventually the SSH showed up, and then much later this 5355 port appeared. And to be honest, I never did explore what this was, or if it was any sort of value. So, but I'm just going to walk you through the process that I went through to get root. All right, so from there, let's go ahead and load up the website, since it's obviously was running Apache. So let's take a look at Nikto. What do we have? So it looks like there could be a potential directory traversal and or a local file include vulnerability. Found an images directory, and it looks like it might be vulnerable to this exploit. Well, I investigated that and found out it was not vulnerable to that exploit, so that did not work. So whenever I start, I always go through each page I have access to and look at the source. And I did that for each page. And I found something initially interesting here, which was just some base 64 encoding, but ultimately determined it was just loading pictures. There was a contact us form. I tried some various XSS attacks. Got nothing out of it. And looking at the source, there's really nothing of any sort of interest. With the admin, I tried some basic login and passwords. Ultimately, I got nowheres with it. The form was very basic, and there was really nothing to poke at further from here. So then I started to explore the local file include, because as you can see, when you click these links, it's loading a local file from the file system, in this case contact.php. So that would obviously lead you to believe that you could load other files. So I started poking away, seeing if I could get the password file to load. And then since I don't really know where on the file system the web server is running, I just kind of have to keep going through this until eventually I find the password file. So I'll go to the source just because it formats it better, so it's easy to read. So first thing I do whenever I find a password file is I always look for any abnormal accounts and user accounts. So going through here, I found the accounts of basically Bob, Peter, Paul, and backup user. The next thing I do is I check UIDs. Do any of these users have any abnormal UIDs, potentially root? Came across that before. And then next thing I do is I check for shells. Do any abnormal accounts have shell access when they shouldn't? Are there any other abnormalities? For example, I noticed that this user, Paul, he doesn't load into a shell, but instead he loads into this PD menu program. I have no idea what it was. At the time, I had no idea what this program was or anything about it, but I thought that was interesting, so I took note. Then we have Peter, and then the backup user, and this is basically running a script. So I thought that was kind of interesting and took notice to that. So once I gleaned that, I wanted to start looking at some other files. I tried to see if, like, for example, the shadow file was available. It was not. And that's when I started exploring some of the other files. For example, the backup script. So I came and found this script and saw that, okay, it's creating a backup in the backups folder with a file called backup.tar. So, okay, let's take a look at that. So I went ahead and let that run through, and then that loaded the tar file. And from here, I started exploring, just kind of looking and seeing what we had. And we saw some user scripts. Nothing really of too interest until suddenly something popped out at me. And that was these SSH keys. So I was like, awesome. I was not expecting to find this here, because I expected this honestly to be a backup of the web server, but it had some user stuff in there. So I eventually went through and tried all these keys and found that one of them worked. That was key number, it was one of the RSA keys. I think it was, yeah, it was this one right here. It's number 4. So I just copied this key. So I created a new file called key. I opened it up and I paste that RSA key in here. I saved it, and then I just SSH'd into the server. And you can do that with the following command: basically -tech-i, and then the file, and also the user. And we saw that the user was Paul. So there we go. Hit enter, and voila. Dumped us to this menu system. So I was like, cool. All right, we can list directories, change directories, edit files, see who's online, browse the web. I imagine that's links, telnet, and ping. Well, it's kind of interesting that telnet was here. So immediately I started thinking, okay, I'm going to have to somehow break out of this, you know. Initially, I was thinking I could potentially exploit one of these commands and have it execute my own commands by, you know, modifying, doing something like this. But I found that none of that worked. None of that worked at all. There's a set file which takes you into Vim, and I was like, awesome. I can drop out of a shell. I can execute commands. None of that worked. So that was out of the question. Vim is running under the permissions as the user, so I wasn't able to edit any sort of system level files. So yeah, when I initially started it, this is kind of where I eventually stopped, and just stopped for the day and kind of left it alone. And just while I was working the next day, it just kind of hit me that I had this Vim access, and I had discovered that this PD menu has the way it operates is there's a configuration file inside the user directory, and that's what loads this menu. And I was able to determine that file is pdmenu.rc. And so I finally clicked and like, hey, I can just open the file and just add whatever I want to add in here. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to add a new entry that will just drop us to a shell. And I did not read anything about how this worked. I just merely just duplicated one of these other lines. I think that's right. I'll go ahead and just give it a full path. Yep, so we'll go ahead and save that. Now we'll have to relog in order for that to show our new change. And you can see now we have our shell. We execute it and bam, it drops us to a user shell. So this was awesome. I now had shell access via Paul, and I could start poking around the system. So that's basically what I did. I started with looking at the web server just to kind of see what else might be hiding there. And I didn't really find anything, though I did find this image with the permissions of Bob in this file of Rubber Duck, which caught my attention. I did some initial strings and a bin walk on it, but I didn't see anything of too major interest and just moved on away from it and filed it for later review if I got stuck and I was getting nowheres. And that was really all I found inside the web server. There really wasn't anything of interest. From here, I started searching the file system for any sort of root files that are hanging around, any sort of misconfiguration with system files, that kind of stuff. And I really didn't find anything. I started looking at the system files that had set UID as root that could run as users, and PK exec kind of caught my eye, and I did some research on there was an exploit out there from 2011, and I did give that a go, and I'll go ahead and run that. But I got nowheres with that. I ran it a couple times. You can see it creates a lot of processes. But like I said, I didn't get anywheres with that. And then I was actually, like I said, I was doing some research and I was clicking past my YouTube. I had my YouTube open and I had my channel up, and the picture of Dirty Cow caught my eye. So I thought, what the heck? I'll just try Dirty Cow and see what's up with that. So I just downloaded the source, and I compiled it. Then you'll get some warnings, but that's fine. And then I ran it, and sure enough, I got root. Went to the root directory, cat, bingo. So that's how you do it. I don't know if necessarily they were intended for you to exploit it via Dirty Cow, but hey, root is root regardless how you get it. So that's how I was able to get root on Pluck. I appreciate you for watching this video. If you enjoyed or appreciated me making this video, I would greatly appreciate it. There's a lot of appreciation going around here, as you can see. If you would give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. That'll give you notifications every time I upload a new video or when I do a live stream. My users seem to really enjoy the live streams, as you get to see the not so pretty parts, basically when things aren't going right. So yeah, click that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the other side.